Yo, what's up, y'all? Whoa, Dr. Bamboo in the house? What's cracking, man? How's it going? What is going on with my stream here? Dropping frames left and right. Seems like it's kind of stabilized here. But yeah, what's cracking, y'all? Nice. All right, so that was one beat on the P6. Let's switch it up though and get into our M8 shenanigans that we got planned for today. So let me turn on the M8 window here. Boom. Live. And then let's do a little sound check here. All right, M8 is sounding nice too. So we are all set here. I'll scooch this down. Because yeah, for today's session, I was planning on trying to get some MIDI stuff going on here with regards to our good friend the P6 and the Dirtywave M8. I was watching DiBiase's stream the other day, and he was using the P6 to MIDI control and play chops and stuff from the M8. So I kind of want to get that set up. I've done that like a different way using this like note offset table configuration, but I'm going to try and change some settings on the P6 so I don't have to jump through any kind of weird table hoops, basically. But yeah, let's go and get started here. And then also, because I'm crazy OCD like this, I got to wipe this touchscreen down. Just doing a quick wipe job. Give me a second, guys. Nice, look at that. Crystal clear. Okay, let's do new project. Oh, yeah. And let's take a look at what we are working with today. So I had a couple samples in mind for today's session. Let's see what we got. Songs to do. Oh man, there's so many folders here. Okay. I think, oh, whoops. Let's hear what this one sounds like. And this one's hella long. It's gonna take me a while to chop it. I like the sound of it though. We got some cool female vocal type stuff going on. So let's get chopping on this so I can get this done with. Okay, so we're looking at the waveform here. As you all may know, Dirtywave M8 can lazy chop as of firmware. I think it was 5.0 that they added it in, but we're on 6.0 now. So we're moving ahead by leaps and bounds. But yeah, basically to lazy chop, you can just hold the play button, and then if you're tapping edit while you have this slice marker selected, it's gonna throw some chop markers in there, which we'll probably have to rearrange a little bit, but it's good to just kind of get stuff out, and then you can kind of fine tune it and tweak it after you've set down some initial ones. So let's chop this up. Nice. Actually, it didn't take me that long to do. Okay. And yeah, you probably saw that I was like tapping as the sample was playing, which is something I do to kind of keep track of the, I don't know, I guess measures or time signature or whatever. But yeah, instead of putting a slice marker on every single tap, I kind of like set the slice markers pretty wide. And the reason why I do that is because you can actually use the start command, which is a command on the FX columns on the M8, to basically like have the sample start playing at different points within the chop, which is really helpful because you can just, again, set those like really wide slice markers, not have to really fine tune like a million chops. But then once you're putting stuff into the sequence, you can use the start command to kind of fine tune things and have chops start halfway through, similar to maybe like parameter locking the start point that you might do on like a different groove box or something. Okay, so this sounded pretty chill though. We're gonna override it. Or actually, let me play these and make sure. Yeah, sounded pretty all right. Okay, so let's get a basic sequence down. I'm not sure what tempo the sample is, but we can figure it out just by putting some notes down. Let's see if I can find some slices I like. Oh yeah, I have to change it to slice 01 file. And so now the notes will correspond to the sample slices. Yeah, this part I like, so I'm gonna start here. So Sakasi writes in and says, what do you like more, the Lo-Fi 12 XT or the Dirtywave, and why? It's a very good question. They're very different devices in my mind, but well, I mean, they're both like samplers and stuff, but I would say I probably like the Dirtywave M8 more, to be honest with you. Just because of like, there's a lot of reasons. The form factor is one, like this thing is like super tiny, so I can like, you know, take it wherever. It has a lot of powerful like sampling and sequencing capabilities. So it's very versatile in that sense. And yeah, just the fact that you can kind of like take it around anywhere. Like the last time I like traveled, I brought it on the plane and just made like a ton of beats on it, which the Lo-Fi 12 XT is small enough to do that, but it's still like, it has kind of a bigger footprint basically. So yeah, this thing I think is just like more versatile at the end of the day. But the Lo-Fi 12 XT is pretty sick too. I mean, it's got like a lot of cool features that make it easy to use, and you can get started pretty quickly on it. Easy to sample chop, easy to record into. So yeah, Lo-Fi 12 XT is like, I kind of gravitate towards that if I want to do more of like a kind of performance-based, tap things out type of beat. But this thing is more of like, you kind of like have to work on the step sequencer and stuff, which is not too bad either. But yeah, that's kind of my answer. I would say overall this thing I probably prefer more, but the Lo-Fi 12 XT is pretty sick. But yeah, thanks BVM Mud. Sorry, it's like tough to pronounce that. But yeah, I appreciate you saying that, man. I'm here to help. And yeah, if you have any like questions about the M8 and stuff, let me know, and I can always go over that stuff. And so Kachi's asking, is it easier to use? I got the Lo-Fi 12, but the sequencer is giving me trouble. I would honestly say that the Lo-Fi 12 XT is probably easier to use. Like it has the pads that you can like tap stuff out on. The keyboard mode is super easy to use too. I think the M8, there's like a higher learning curve. And it can be a little more challenging, although once you do get into the flow of it, you can start moving very quickly on it. But yeah, I think this one can be a little bit more intimidating and harder to use just because it's very different. It's like a tracker as opposed to your, you know, usual kind of groovebox type stuff. But yeah, I find the Lo-Fi 12 XT sequencer, it's not too bad. You know, you've got those numbered buttons that you can like kind of set steps in and stuff. Press record and then press play, and then you can play stuff live too. So it's got real-time recording, which is something that this kind of doesn't do. You need to use a MIDI controller to do real-time control or real-time recording with this. So that's kind of like, in a nutshell, I guess, comparing like the workflows and stuff. This one's a little trickier as opposed to the Lo-Fi 12 XT, which is I think a little more straightforward. Okay, we are looking at some sample chops here. Gotta change the tempo. You just gotta have both, huh? That's what's up. I mean, you know me, I got both, and I have a heck of a time. It's always fun. And I think having multiple samplers is cool too, just because you get to kind of experience different workflows and think about creating music differently. So if it's within your power to have multiple devices, yeah, by all means. All right, so this sounded pretty 90 BPM-y. All right, so let's go over that start command thing. Whoops, this is kind of crooked. So yeah, basically what I was talking about before is I have this slice marker set pretty wide. So this slice is basically on the, I guess you'd call it the full note because it's not a half note. It's just like the entire bar is how the slice plays. But yeah, you can use the start command. Where are we at? Here we go. And yeah, basically this can trigger playback of this slice within the kind of slice that you set. So I can basically get kind of micro chops. And so this is going to play it basically at the same rate that it's going at before, but I can adjust these. And even throw in like more too. And I usually keep it on like the 0 value because that's kind of like an even, you can basically divide it into 16 parts if you just keep it on the 0, like 2 0, 3 0, 6 0. But yeah, you can even like move things around too. And so yeah, let's compare that to the original kind of slice. So I'm going to clone it. Yeah, so it gives you like a instant variety kind of, and you have a lot of control over, yeah, putting these start commands down and having them kind of just place slice markers, quote unquote. They're like invisible slice markers within the file to kind of start the playback at different points. So yeah, let's get some drums in the mix next here. All right, so we're gonna pause here. So this is actually the point where I want to test out this different workflow where I'm using the P6 keyboard to play things in. Because yeah, normally I'm kind of just getting like straight into the step sequencer and putting notes down and stuff, but I do want to try a different, more expressive performance type or expressive playback type thing. So yeah, basically I need to change some MIDI settings on the P6, and then I also need to change some MIDI settings on the M8. And so basically what I want to do is press the buttons here, and then it's playing like this kick drum, for instance, so that I can record that into the sequence live instead of doing the kind of step-by-step type stuff. So let's get started with that. So first thing I need to do is I need to make a note of the instrument I'm using here. So I'm using, yeah, instrument 02 is the kick. So we're going to go over to the project settings and then MIDI. Okay. And then, okay, yeah, the record note channel is channel 9. That's going to be important because that's what we're going to use to actually put the notes in. And then, what do we got here? Record velocity, I'm not really interested in. Record delay. So this is going to be good. Basically what this does is it'll, as I play the notes while this is playing, it's going to record the notes into the sequence, but it's also going to add like an offset to make it, it'll basically include the micro timing essentially by adding a delay command in the FX column where the note appears. So we're going to keep that, or we're going to have that on. Okay. And then the kick is on instrument number 3. And the record note channel is channel 9. It's on track 3 as well. So I guess I'll just put this to 3. No. Instrument 2 is the kick. So we've got this on 2. Channel 3. Actually, I don't think it matters what I set this to. Because basically, as long as I'm sending MIDI notes on channel 9, it should be able to hear it. So I think that's what we're going to do. All right. So now I got to make some changes on the P6. So let's switch our little view here. All right, and then the first thing I need to do is find a blank pad, so one that doesn't have a sample on it. Okay, that was easy. And then now I need to go to the settings, so shift menu. Oh yeah, there's transpose. That'll come in handy later. And we're looking for the granular channel, because basically what this will do is it'll let me use the granular instrument to send MIDI notes. So I'm gonna choose enter here, and I have it set to channel 10, but we want it to be 9 because 9 is what the M8 is listening for notes to record to. So we've got this set to channel 9. That's the granular channel. And then I'm going to press the granular button. So now we're in granular mode. Oh, I'm entering notes in the sequence. Okay, so then I press keyboard. Oh, dude, I'm so dumb. It's not even plugged in. Okay, so I also have to plug in a cable. It can just be a TRS cable, so like a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack type deal. That needs to go MIDI out, and then you got to send it to MIDI in here. So we've got the necessary goods here. Let's get this plugged up. MIDI out, yep. And then we're going to go to the in here. Okay, let's see if that worked. Well, would you look at that? It's definitely sending notes. Let's bring it down a couple octaves. So this is D2, or C2, I mean. Oh, there we go. So that's playing it at the correct pitch too. And then I guess I could play it chromatically if I wanted to. This will be helpful when it comes to recording the bass line, which I'll do later. But yeah, for now, it's just basically pressing this button is going to trigger the kick. And I think what happens is now that I have the rec channel set, if I press play here, as I push this button, it's going to put the notes into the sequence. So let's find out. Oh, let me get the M8 screen back up here. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna press play. I'm gonna press shift play so we can hear everything. So it technically works, but yeah, I kind of did not do a good sequence there. But one other thing you'll notice is that it's not very precise with the micro timing, so you don't have a lot of parts per quarter note, or PPQN, which is basically how it's going to make the micro timing a lot more, yeah, how it's going to give you like different values that you can have the note be delayed by. This device doesn't have many, but there is a trick we can use to make it more, to make it have a higher resolution, basically. Some of you might be familiar with this. Basically, it involves just doubling the BPM. So if you make the tempo twice as fast, you have twice as much data between each step. So it can put the notes in twice as many places between each step. So let's do that. So right now it's 90 BPM, so that's easy. Let's do the math here. Does anyone have a calculator? I'm just kidding. So we're gonna do 180. Okay, so let's double the BPM. And then I also need to do one other thing. Oh. Okay, cool. Yeah, and the other thing I need to do is change the groove. So if you're on the phrase page and you do shift up, you get to the groove settings. What this is doing is it's basically determining how many ticks there are per step. And the tick is like it's the value in between each step. So like, yeah, there's 6 ticks per step. So there's a step, and then there's one of 6 places that can be in between the step, the micro timing essentially, and then it'll go to the next step. So instead of having it be 6, I'm going to double it. I'm going to have it be 12. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, dang it. Sorry, you have to do edit and then write. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. which is 0C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 0C. So now this is saying there's 12 ticks per step instead of 6 ticks per step. And the reason why this is important is because I doubled the BPM. So the sequencer was going to be moving twice as fast, but now it's got twice as many ticks to go through. So it's actually going to sound like it's just 90 BPM, even though it's 180. So check it out. Doesn't sound like 180. And now when I record the kick in, it'll have more micro timing options basically. Oops. Gets a little tricky though, because it keeps like putting this note on the end here. So I'm just going to put this one on the start. But yeah, so that's kind of a way to, do like a real-time recording type method. And then it's going to capture some of the micro timing. Although you can see it didn't put a delay command on many of these, which is kind of unusual because you'd think that I would have played at least a couple off grid. Let me try one more time. The heck, it's not recording it in. Pray tell, what's happening? Maybe I have to have the, oh, you know what? The cursor might need to be moved to the left. Because yeah, if you have the cursor here, I think it's maybe waiting for some kind of effects command input. Whereas if it's here, all the way on the left, it'll record the notes in. Maybe. Okay, so that's the kick. We'll come back to it. I need to get the hi-hat in because I think that'll guide more. So let's find a hi-hat. Yo, M-Fizz. What's up, man? All right, so we got a pretty chill hi-hat. And actually, I was using the chromatic keyboard to play it pitch down a little bit, because that's something I normally do, which is try to figure out what pitch works well. Because yeah, pitching drums up and down can, I don't know, you don't really have to pay too much attention to the tuning of them, but sometimes it helps kind of bring the rhythm section together if you have certain things pitched in a way where they all sound kind of the same. But yeah, Covey Bingham writes in and asks, do you make money from music? And the answer is no, I do not. Yeah, no, this is just like a hobby for me, so I don't sell music or profit in any way other than having fun doing creative stuff. But yeah, it's a good question. All right, so let's record some hi-hats in here. Nice. So we got a basic pattern there. I kind of want to try something I saw DiBiase do on his stream the other day, which was it looked like he copied his hi-hat pattern and then pasted it on a new track, but it was like offset by one note, or one step, I mean. So it kind of like created a double hi-hat pattern. So I'm gonna try that. So I copied the contents of this, right? So yeah, to do that, you basically just have to hold shift and then press option a couple times till you have everything selected. Press option to copy. And then we're gonna do new track, 50. And then yeah, to paste you do hold shift, press edit, boom. Oh crap, I already screwed it up. I'm gonna copy it again and delete it. So yeah, I'm gonna try pasting it one step lower. Yeah, because it's gonna paste from where you have the cursor set. So you just have to move the cursor down one and then paste it in. Yeah, let's see how this sounds. Not too bad. And then yeah, if you adjust the velocity of them, you can make them a little bit quieter, and then it kind of does sound like that sort of middle hi-hat type deal. Whoops. Yeah, I was gonna try and re-record the kick there. Oops. But I don't have the right instrument selected. Oh. So that's an interesting behavior of the record note channel. So this is good to know. It's basically gonna remember the last instrument that you had selected when you're recording the notes in. So for instance, when I push the, what are we doing here? Oh, whoops. C5. Okay. So yeah, right now you can hear the kick instrument playing, instrument 02. But if I were to change it to the snare, it's basically remembering the last instrument you played. So it's good to, yeah, just drop a note in basically. Make sure you're selecting the right instrument, which is the kick. And then now it's going to record the kick when I press play. And then I'm going to mess around with the EQ on the kick a little bit. Okay, yeah, I was just messing around with some of those notes there, moving the delay up and down to get a little bit different micro timing, and then adjusting the velocity of some of the ghost notes to give them little bit more variety. Let's see, what's next? I might be ready to come back to the sample chops actually. Oh, you know what? I do want to try one other thing, which is trying to do like a sidechain compression type thingy. And yeah, so this is another thing that I saw DiBiase do, which I want to test out. And basically it involves using like a special kind of like envelope, which is you can access from the mod page. And let me just remind myself how to do this. So I'm pretty sure I need to go to the sample chop instrument, which is my instrument 00. Then I go up, and yeah, so from the instrument page, you do shift up, you end up on the mod page. From here, there's a type of modulation called, I think it's trig envelope. Let me look at them all though. That says tracking, trig envelope. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's trig envelope. And yeah, basically what this is going to do is I think it's going to listen or wait for a sound to play. And then once the sound plays, it'll activate this envelope that can, I think, duck out the sound a little bit. So kind of like what you'd expect from sidechain compression. And so the purpose of this would be for me to put it on the kick, or to have the kick be the source of it. And then when the kick plays, it like brings the sample chop sequence down in volume. So we're going to set the source to kick. I think this is how this works. And then destination, I want to be volume. So when the kick plays, I want the volume to change on the sample chops. Let's see if that did anything. It's quite aggressive. Oh, there we go. So it sounds like that's doing it. Kind of sounds like it. And then yeah, MFizz is asking, can you automate the intensity of the sidechain? I think you could automate it because, yeah, basically once you've got it set here on the mod page, you can add effects commands to the sequence that change some of the values on this page. So yeah, you could, after setting like kind of the baseline sidechain down, you could automate it further in the sequence by adding commands that make it more or less aggressive. So yeah, totally can. But yeah, it sounds like this is it. So take a listen. Let me know if you hear the difference. Whoops. Okay, so this is it off. And then it on. Cool. So yeah, just a matter of using the trig envelope on whatever you want to be quieter. And then, yeah, setting, I guess the attack is really what's causing the volume to be quiet at the beginning, and then it brings it back up. I maxed out the hold. I don't know how high you actually really need to have this, but I just put it to max because I think once the volume goes from quiet to what it's supposed to be, then it just needs to stay what it's at. So that's why I put the hold at the max. And then, yeah, the source is the kick. So I could theoretically do this to other instruments too. Right now it's just on the sample chops, but I'll probably end up doing it to the bass too once we get to that point. Okay, so that is interesting. I've never done that before. But yeah, back to the sample chops here. Gotta figure out what I want to do with this. So let's see what the keyboard does when I start playing some of these notes. So So yeah, that's C4, which is too high. It needs to be lower. What do we got going on here? Is C2 really the last chop? Pray tell, why can I not hear it? What's going on with this thing? It's weird, the audio is like cutting out for me. Can't hear it playing. Oh, maybe that's when the hold stops? Oh, dude. Yeah, see, this is why this thing's kind of tricky. I don't know if it's like maybe preventing the playback of it or something. I can see the waveform too, like on the M8, but it's definitely not playing anything. Yeah, the envelope's like fading it out. I have to get creative with this. Maybe I can set the volume or set the envelope only to be active in the sequence. I don't know. I don't even know if you can add this kind of command to the sequence. Let's find out. No, that's the hold. So it's not the destination. Oh man, yeah, this is kind of tricky. Maybe I have to set the amount like backwards or something. Let's mess around with it. Okay, so yeah, setting the amount to 0 and then changing the decay instead of the hold seems to have a similar kind of sidechain type effect. Let's see if I still have problems playing the sequence or playing the note. Okay. So yeah, that seemed to do the trick. I guess I had it set up in kind of a janky way. So disregard how I had it set up before. Seems like this is what you want to do. Bring the amount down to 0, and then I guess I put some attack on here. I don't know if it's necessary. And then the decay is basically going to control that ducking so that the sample chops or whatever you want play quieter. Okay. And then, yeah, the whole reason why I was messing around with that was because I was wanting to play some of these notes on the P6. Okay, so this is the problem though. This is as low as I can go on the P6 keyboard. You can only go -4. But that's C2, and I gotta get to C1. I gotta get all the way to C1. So what I need to do is adjust the transpose on the P6 to make it so that it'll go low enough on the keyboard to where it's triggering C1, which is basically the where the first slice is. So to do that, I need to change some settings here. Let's take a look. Okay, so I think there is a transpose control. Shift menu. Transpose. And right now it's set to 0. So theoretically I should set this to -12, and that'll give me the -12 notes that I need to be on C1 instead of C2. Okay. Oh, whoops. All right, seems like it's working. Exit. And you can see the C1 triggering there. Let me just get the screen back on. Yeah, you know what I'm going to do actually is I am going to go back to the sample chops and add some more slice markers in. Because now that I'm using this keyboard to play the slices in, I think I do want things to be a little bit more finely chopped, as opposed to using the start command, which is what I normally do. But we're trying new things today. So let's do some in-between markers here to get things kind of micro-chopped a little bit more. There's going to be like a million slice markers, but it's okay. Dang it. I think I just put a double slice marker there. Delete it. Nice. Okay, so it says there's 44, but that's 44 in hexadecimal. There's probably like a million more. We're gonna overwrite though. Yeah, that's a lot of chops, but this will be fun because now that I have the P6 keyboard able to play, we can really tap out something fun. So let's go back to our sequence here. And then, yeah, I'm actually just gonna clear this out. And then I'll put some extra notes in here just so we can kind of have that going. Whoops. Okay. So yeah, something else weird is going on that I need to figure out, which is that if I'm pressing two of the buttons at the same time, it cuts one of them off. So check a look. So I need to figure out why it's doing that, because basically I don't want to have to like really precisely control when I'm letting go of stuff. I kind of just want to be able to tap it out. So I think it's a setting on the M8 here. So back to MIDI settings. What are we looking at? It's probably this thing, mode legato. I'm going to change this to mono. Okay, yeah, that's behaving more like I thought. All right, so we are all good to go here. Let's get back to our sequence. Oh, duh. And then there's one other thing, which is right now I have to hold the button down. And if I just tap it, it only plays like a short slice of it, or short amount of it. So I want it to be where I press it and it plays the full thing. So I got to change the settings here. So yeah, I got to go to the instrument, and then I'm on the mod page. And then here I need to change the envelope. Actually, I don't know if this is going to play nice with the sidechain type thing that I set up, but we'll see. And I'm pretty sure you have to do ADSR and you just put sustain to max, maybe? Negative. Oh, duh. You have to change the destination as well, so I'm going to put it on volume. So I don't know if you have to have all of these maxed out. Let's see what happens if I just have sustain maxed out. Definitely not. How about release? Sounds like what I would expect. What the hell, we'll just have them all maxed out. And then let me see if this affects the sidechain as well. Can't really tell. It's hard for me to determine, but what I can do is once I get the sequence played in, I can take a closer look at it and figure it out. So yeah, let's find some notes that sound sick and get something recorded in. All right, that sounds pretty chill. So we're gonna get that one punched in here. Keep it nice and short. right, and I got these kind of mixed up here. I wanted 10 to be the second one. All right, let's figure out if the sidechain is still working. I think it is. It does sound different when I turn it off. All right, let's record a bass line. And so the M8 actually has a lot of built-in synthesis engines. There's a FM synth and a couple other cool things. But yeah, I like using this macro syn because there's this super beefy triple sine wave, which is great for just a nice like kind of heavy sub bass, basically. And what I want to do here is change some envelope settings. So first off, let me just like push notes and see what it sounds like. So yeah, nice and fat. But I do want to put some controls on here just to make it like kind of smoother. Because when I let go of the button, it kind of like makes a popping noise. Or maybe when I press it, it makes a popping noise. So we can add some attack. And then I want to be able to hold it down for longer too. So you increase the hold a little bit and it gives you like a longer, yeah, so I can control the note a little bit more. Okay, let's see how this sounds in context. Yo, Delon PA. Delo NPA. What's up, man? All right, let's see if J Macula can remember how to play that. Let me put some notes in here. So yeah, I think this is a 2-bar bass loop that I've been kind of riffing here. Whoops. Boom, 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 boom. Whoa, it sounds kind of weird. It definitely does not sound like the way I was playing it. What's up with that? Oh, it might be these envelope settings. I think the hold is kind of like keeping the note on. That's kind of a bummer, because yeah, when I was playing it, it sounded pretty chill, but now I gotta like fine tune all these parameters and stuff. Oh, I know what's going on. Okay, so there's something else I can do. There's more. So basically in the MIDI settings, so right now I have rec delay / off set to just delay. So what that's doing, like I talked about earlier, is it's adding the delay command into the FX column so that it can do some micro timing stuff. So this note off I think will be helpful. So I'm going to change this to both. And what this is going to do is it's going to also capture as I'm playing when I release the note. So how that's going to help is it'll hold the bass for as long as I want it, and then it'll let it off by inputting this command here. So the bass line should sound a little more natural now that I have this both setting set. Yo, Sound Doctrine. What's up, man? Yeah, M8 Boom Bap community on the rise for sure. We out here. Yeah, definitely seeing a lot more folks picking up like headless and stuff, which is super sick. Yeah, DiBiase's stream the other day was super dope. And we got other folks out there that are making it happen and keeping it snapping. So let's take a look here. All right, yeah, so I'm going to clear this out. Let's try playing this one more time. I'm going to practice. This is a good way to rehearse. You put the cursor over on the right in the FX column. So that means I can play this stuff, and it's not going to input the notes in. And then once I'm ready to do that, I'll move the cursor back to the left. So now, I think I need to make those changes that I made before on the hold. Can't remember what I had this at. I think that'll work. Okay, let's try that. So yeah, made a world of difference having that note offsetting enabled, because yeah, now it's basically keeping the bass active until I'm letting go of the key, and then it's dumping this additional FX command, which is the off command, in there, so it sounds a lot more like I'm playing it as opposed to before where it was just like triggering the initial note. So pretty groovy stuff. Just doing a little low pass there. I don't even know if that's necessary. But yeah, Sound Doctrine writes in and says, which are your favorite FX to use on the M8? You mean like the FX? Oh yeah, the FX column effects. I think my go-tos for sure, I mean, there's the basic kind of bread and butter type stuff, which is like the delay command to get the micro timing and all that type of stuff. So that one's definitely something I use quite a bit, DEL. If you know, you know. And then there's the, I'm trying to think. I feel like the start command is actually something that I use quite frequently. I kind of switched it up on this particular sequence to where I'm not using it, but the start command is really cool because, yeah, you can kind of just have something play back from a certain point. So STA is a useful one. And it's cool too because you can preview what it's going to sound like. So STA 0 sounds like this, but STA 40 yeah, look at that. I just dropped in like 3 random STA commands and I already have like kind of a variation of this sample chop pattern. So STA is powerful, man. You throw that in between some of your chops or, yeah, basically it's with sample chops or longer melodic samples, and you can get a lot of mileage out of just kind of, it allows you basically to micro chop without needing to set slice markers down for it. So STA is cool. And then another one that I use quite a bit as well is the PLY command. So play mode. And this, I'll very often use it to play things backwards. So it's 0, 1 is the reverse. And yeah, you can drop this in at various points too, and it'll also sound like it'll give your sample chop or whatever like an interesting kind of different sound basically. Cool. So yeah, PLY is pretty tight. Definitely mess around with that. I would recommend. You can use it to create kind of like a manual ping pong too, which is interesting. If you have like a longer sample playing and it's like cutting out a little early, you can like throw one of these commands in to just reverse it from that point in the sequence. So it'll start playing backwards and then you could probably like fade it out or something too. So yeah, DEL, STA, PLY. Let me just see if there's anything else that stands out to me. VOL you can use to like fade things out, so I do that sometimes. Oh yeah, the send reverb and send delay is pretty interesting too. You can use that to like, because the M8's monophonic, so you can't have more than one sound playing on the same track, but you can sometimes use like delay to kind of like sustain the chop a little bit longer or sound. So for instance, I'm trying to think of where I could do this. That would be a good example. Let me just make a copy of this. Maybe like here, I guess. And so yeah, what this is controlling is it's basically affecting this parameter, the delay parameter for the instrument, which is the delay send. And then let me show you what it sounds like with it and without it. I don't know if that'll work. Let me see. Yeah, it kind of sounds the same. But yeah, basically you can just send delay for a certain note that you have in the sequence to kind of like give it a longer sustain without it getting cut off by the next note. It'll still get cut off, but you'll basically send some of the audio to the send delay. I don't know. I don't have a good example of it, but that's kind of how it works. Those are kind of the go-tos for me. And yeah, the cool thing about some of these commands too is that you can really build out a sequence by just throwing some of these in. So for instance, I was modifying the phrase 11 and I put these start commands in. So what I can do is go back to phrase 11, take them out, and take out these reverse commands. And then I can do 11, 10, 12, 10. And yeah, now instead of having a 2-bar loop, I have a 4-bar loop. And that's basically just because I put a couple commands in between some of these, notes or whatever. So you can really like kind of create variations of your sequences, which can extend and, make things sound more interesting because it sounds different. Oh, I got a good example for the send delay command. So you can hear at the end of this, like this sample chop. So it creates this like, whoosh. It's kind of like a percussion sound that has reverb on it. So say I want that to sustain out, because right now it kind of just cuts off when the next note plays. Whoosh, and then it kind of just stops. So let's try using send delay to like kind of keep it active for a bit longer. So I'm going to put the SDL command here. Where you at? Okay, here we go. Send delay. And then I'll just really crank it. Maybe I have to have a note here too. Oh man, this is going to be confusing. Because if I have to have a note here, I don't think I need to. Let me just try this. So it is kind of sustaining it. It sounds a little weird though. Let me try doing like a delay command with it. This is where the programming on the M8 can get like super deep because there's so many like precise controls you have over the sequence. Yeah, so it kind of has that continue to ring out sort of. It's it can be a little tricky, but I find this to be very helpful, yeah, with certain sample chops and sometimes with like vocal chops. If you're messing around with, yeah, people's voices and stuff, you can kind of have the whatever they're saying carry on through the next note if you use this send delay command. So definitely mess around with it and see if it works out for you. Dude, heck yeah, man. Appreciate you saying that. All right. Kind of forgot what I was doing here. Just did the bass. I feel like I can do the hi-hat better. Let me try messing around with that. We're gonna keep a copy of it just in case though. Whoops. Oh yeah, okay, so that should be fine. And so now I can play notes on the P6 and it'll control it, methinks. Oh yeah, and then I have to do that thing that I did with the sample chops, which is basically take the envelope and max it out so that when I press the pad, it plays the entire sample and doesn't just stop it when I let go. Oh, and then I need to do volume too. Nice. Alright, not too bad. And then let me try and shape the envelope a little bit too. Hey, hi Def84. Appreciate it, man. Thanks for saying that. All right, pretty chill. All right, so I recorded some in-between hi-hat notes there. And yeah, if you're not familiar with the shortcut, it's actually pretty useful, what I'm doing here, which is holding the Option button down and then pressing right and left. So that allows you to move between the... Oh wait, did that not do it? I might have screwed it up there. Yeah, Option, right and left basically allows you to move between the sequences for the tracks, or the chains, the phrase of the chain that's next to it. So these are both the hi-hat tracks. This is phrase 42, and then this was another hi-hat track that I created, which is phrase 50. So I kind of want to try putting these notes all in one sequence so that it's not separate, but I wanted to kind of mess around with having it on a separate track in case I like screwed up the sequence or whatever. So let me try copying this and see if I can paste it in and see if it sounds the same. There we go. Okay. I don't know if this is going to work, but let's find out here. It's not bad. Oh wow, that's kind of interesting. I just realized when I was recording those notes in, it also kept the velocity at what I had it set at for the last note that I was messing with. So it recorded those in at 34, which is not bad. I probably will make them a little bit louder though. It sounds pretty good. Yeah, so now I'm trying to think about how to add some variety to this sequence. Oh, but yeah, Hyde F84 writes in and says, can you do more KO2 live cookups, maybe? Yeah, man. I'll get it on the docket. I haven't touched the KO2 in a while. In fact, I was meaning to do a deeper dive into like the firmware update that they recently did, but I just have not gotten around to it. But yeah, man, I'll break it out on the next one. After I familiarize myself with how it works. Because yeah, I've been kind of off and on it. But I can certainly do that. Do you have the KO2? How do you like it? Nice. Yeah, that's what's up, man. That's cool. Yeah, the P6 is pretty awesome as well. Dude, P6 KO2, that kind of combo, I bet is super sick. I gotta mess around with that more. But yeah, Jay writes in and asks, can it capture the velocity over MIDI also? And I think it can. Let me just double check. Yeah, so one of the settings for MIDI is rec velocity. So yeah, I think it can record in, the velocity that you're pressing down on the pad. Or MIDI note, whatever controller you're using, it'll capture that. It's not very, or I don't have a good example of that though, because the P6 is not velocity sensitive, so it's just registering the note. But yeah, you can definitely capture the velocity. And then Hyde F84 says, I want to get the brick for the M8 headless, see if M8 is something for me. Yeah, man, that's one way to do it. You can just straight up get a Teensy as well, which is like the little, it's like a microcomputer. It's kind of like a Raspberry Pi, but like even tinier. But yeah, if you just get that thing, you can plug it into your computer and use your computer as like the screen for it. So you wouldn't even need the brick or any kind of micro handheld gaming device. But I'm not too familiar with headless, so I don't have a lot of advice on how to set that up. But I do know that, yeah, you can use the Teensy just with your computer and a USB cable. That's what I've heard. Okay, so what are we doing here? Let me see if I can get an open hat in the mix here. This will work. Oh yeah, I forgot to talk about this too. I put in these nth commands in the hi-hat sequence. Yeah, if y'all are not familiar, basically what this will do is it's a command you can use to make it so that notes only play like every other bar or every other, well, in this it's their phrases, but yeah, basically it'll make it so that it'll skip notes as it's going through the sequence, which is super cool. It's great for creating like variety in certain patterns, especially with the hi-hat, which there are a lot of notes on, because yeah, you can have it. So like basically what this is doing is it's saying only play this on the second bar, not on the first bar. So you can see when I press play, it's going to skip it and then it'll play it on the next one. And I'm talking about this note on number 2. So you see it's not triggering, but as we continue to listen, you'll hear it play again. Yeah, so that's nth 10 is on the second one, and then nth 80 is on the 1 and the 3. So essentially what this will do is it'll play it on the first time it loops, but then the second time it loops, it'll skip it. So it's kind of the opposite of nth 10. So I have these on these kind of like in-between notes just to kind of, yeah, again, add a little bit of variety to the sequence without needing to like copy and paste the chains or copy and paste the phrases and then edit the notes in each one. So it can be a quick way to do that. The only other caveat is you actually have to have copies of the chain, copies of the phrase in the chain. If I just had this one here, it would basically, the command wouldn't work. See, so this is just never playing. And the reason why it's not playing is because there's not a 2 for it to play on, because the chain is just one phrase. But if you put 2 in there, it'll work. And then I usually just do 4 because eventually everything will be 4 bars. That's how I normally set things up on the M8. Oh, and yeah, Flex Vanity was saying the KO2 firmware updates significantly improved the workflow, but the effects limitation kill me. Yeah, are you talking about like how you can only have effects on it's just, I feel like, yeah, it's like per project even. It's not per like bank or whatever. Like there's A, B, C, and D, but the effect just has to be on like all of them. Or I guess you could turn the wet dry mix down so it's not like active on all of them, but you can only have one effect per project, right? Is that how that works? But yeah, I remember the effects being kind of like wonky on that for sure, or it's just a little bit difficult to kind of customize it or whatever. Oh, it's per bank. Gotcha. Yeah, but if you have 12 sounds in a single bank, yeah, there's probably going to be some of those sounds that you don't want the effect on, but it's like, it's per bank. Yeah. Tricky stuff, for sure. Nice, so we got the open hat in there. Although now that I added this open hat, I think it might break all this hard work I did with the nth command, because I have to have a different sequence, or a different phrase here, 43. I don't know exactly how it's going to behave, so let's take a look. Yeah, so this is on too, so I think it's actually working. Or actually no, because this is on 1 and 3, and this is 2, so it's not working. Yeah, I'll just have to delete some of these notes. Nice, not too bad. Okay. What else we got? Horns are loud. Sounds pretty chill. I kind of like it at that pitch. Interesting. Okay, but what I gotta do is I need to have this instrument. Oh yeah, so there's 2 samples that I want to use, 2 of these horn samples. This is the first one, and then I want to do another one. So I'm just gonna copy and paste this instrument. So Shift Option to copy, move over to the next one, Shift Edit to paste, and then what you can do here is you can just hold Edit and then press the right button, and this will move through the samples that are in that folder. So this is horn 23. Which is the one that I want to play here. I might have to mess around with the pitch actually. So let me try using a start command to see if I can kind of extend this out a little bit. So we're going to do STA. Here we go. It's hard to get the timing right on this. Okay, that sounds pretty alright. And then I'm also gonna add another trigger of this here, but I'm gonna make it a lower velocity so it's a little bit quieter. So it's gonna sound kind of like a delay, sort of. Maybe I'll try using the send delay command too, to like give it a little bit more sustain there. SDL. Nice. And then this one I also need to change. Let's see. So yeah, I'm going to use the start command as well to like try to sustain this one out a little bit. Yeah, I kind of want that da-da-da to happen on step 8. So I think I'll put another note here that triggers it like pretty early. It's not too bad. And then I'm going to make this a 4-bar pattern by basically skipping 51, which is like the dun dun dun. So I think I'm going to have it skip it on the first go through and just play it on the 4th bar. Whoops. Nice. It's good to know too that I have this blank space here because I can also put another sample or instrument in there if I'm looking for room and I want to fill that kind of void or whatever. So yeah, that's not too bad with the horn. Let's see what else we got. Keep shopping around. I like these claves. Let's see what we got. 4 of them. It's not perfect timing, but let me dial this in. Whoops. override it. Okay. So I thought I'd be clever here and put it on the kick track, but the other notes are kind of cutting off, and I want the clave sound to kind of ring out a little bit. So I'll put it on its own track, and then I'm going to do some like resampling to kind of consolidate it, because I do want it to line up with the snare. I'll probably have it come in like maybe every other snare hit or something. So let's just build it out on 70. Okay, so I've got the clave sequence kind of mapped out here. And then actually let me re-record the snare too and see if I can get a better like kind of micro timing delay type deal on this one. And I forget I have to make the snare the active instrument. Okay. All right, that's C4. All right, so we got a little micro timing in there, not too bad. And yeah, so now what I want to do is sort of merge the tracks in a sense, and I want to do that using resampling. So I'll basically be rendering the snare and the clave track so that they're in one. So I'm not kind of taking up two tracks for sounds that are basically happening on the same sort of pattern or frequency. So I'm going to do that by bringing these chains down. I think this will work. And then I have to put some 0 zeros in here. So let's see what happens if I move my cursor down and press play. did not work. Maybe I basically just want to hear 20 and 70. So I think maybe I have to put some zeros in the middle here. Okay, that's doing what I wanted to do. Now I need to, oh yeah, one other thing I have to do is name the project. So back up to the project screen. Just put today's date, I guess. 2025. 05/31. Very original, I know. And then, so now I have the project named. I don't know if I have to save it, but I'm going to save it anyways. So I can put it in my songs folder. Okay, so to render, basically you just have to highlight what you want to render, which is just 20 and 70. But I have to like kind of select it all. And then once you have the highlight option going, you press edit twice, I think. Boom. Okay, cool. And then now it's asking me what kind of render I want to do. We have so many options. We got quick render, real time, and then external USB. So the external would be if I had sounds coming from another device that I wanted to record in, do like the line in or the USB, which is not the case. Real time and quick render, I'm not honestly sure what the difference between these two are. I guess quick render is a little faster, maybe. So let's just do that, I guess. And so yeah, I pressed edit to select it. And then basically what it did is it, yeah, just rendered it out. So once it does that, it creates a new sample. It's a recording that just has basically what happened on these tracks in its own kind of wave file. So let's take a look at that here. So yeah, it'll create a new sampler instrument. And so yeah, the name of my song was today's date. So that's what it named the sample. I'm sure it'll like append it and put like other numbers and letters or whatever if you try to do it multiple times. In fact, maybe let's see what it does when I do that. Just kind of curious here. In fact, we did the quick render. Let's take a look at real time and see if it's any different. Oh, with real time, you can hear it. That's kind of cool, I guess. Okay, either way, basically does the same thing for our purposes. Oh yeah, and so now it's calling it _2. So it'll just do underscore and then add numbers to it, I guess. But yeah, so what this did is if you look at the waveform, you can see this is the snare drum and it has the clave sound in it. And it just recorded as long as the phrases were, which was 2 bars. So pretty easy stuff. And again, the purpose of doing this is because what I can do now is instead of having 2 tracks, one for the snare and one for the clave, I can just have one that has both. And I can keep these sequences too. I can like just tuck them like way down here, I guess. And the reason why I can keep those, or the reason why I'd want to keep those is in case I want to make changes or move the clave around or do like alternate triggers. I can have the backup just in case I need to do that. And then now I can do like maybe 21, I guess. And I can create a new phrase that has, or a new phrase that has that different instrument on it. Probably gonna want to slice it too, which I'll do in a second. But let me check the chat here. Simon Laver Beats writes in and says, "Hey Jay, how are you? I dropped a new Lo-Fi 12XT tape. Dude, that's sick. I'm doing good. I gotta check that tape out though. That's you got it on your YouTube or is it on streaming platforms and stuff? Because I definitely want to listen and see what it's about. Because your mixtapes are super dope, so I think a full beat tape would be sick. So yeah, man, let me know where I can find it so I can check it out. Okay, so we've got this. Oh yeah, the other thing I want to do here is I want to slice it. So, and I don't need to do anything fancy because the way the render works is it only recorded what was in the chains. So instead of going in there and doing like lazy chopping and manually putting the chops in, I really just need to do 16 maybe. No, I'll do it 4. And so this is 1 for each bar, I think. Well, here, let me count it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I guess just 8. Nice. And then now I can put these notes in. on the quarter note. Let's see if this worked. This one sounds kind of weird. Maybe it's the way it chopped it. Oh, because this, I think this was the snare that came a little early. Oh man, that's not great. Okay, what am I gonna do here? Oh wait, why am I even slicing it in the first place? Or maybe I can do the slices wider. So let's do 4. And then I'll delete the in-between notes. So this needs to be C#1. So this will work maybe? There we go. And then I'll have this be the next 2. Cool. So that's kind of a glimpse into the resample workflow, which is important on this device once you get to the point where you're, wanting to be super efficient with your tracks and not have a whole track dedicated to like a single sound. You can start combining stuff. But again, very important to keep like kind of backups, I guess, of what you're resampling so that in case you do want to make changes down the road, it's not super complicated to do that. And then for this one, I ended up just slicing it 4 so that I could have notes on the half note to just kind of play through and not need to worry too much about like the in-between type notes and stuff. But let me take a look here. Simon Labor Beats is saying, I appreciate you. Your videos and the XT is the reason it's possible. Dude, that's so sick. I appreciate you saying that. Dropped it on Bandcamp. Don't want to drop links in your chat though. Oh, okay. Yeah, man, I'll check it out. I'm sure I can find it by just looking at your channel. So I'll take a look there and see what's up. But yeah, man, I'm stoked to listen to it and I will check it out for sure. Okay. What are we doing here? Yeah. So I added that percussion layer. Let's keep shopping around for more layers. We might be able to make this work. I kind of want that second hit though, the so let me here, I'll save a copy of it in my test folder and then just do this. Crop it, overwrite. And then I kind of want to try playing it on the P6 keyboard. So let's mess around with that. But first I have to do the envelope and maxed out. Oh, I guess this is C4. Yep. Okay. maybe I could put a filter on it too. All right. So yeah, adding that little guitar layer there, keeping it nice and quiet. The filter helped sort of give it its own space off on the high end. And what else do we got here? This clavinet though sounds gangsta. I feel like I recognize that tune. I don't know what it's from though. Da-na, da-na, na, da-na, na, na, meow. It's probably some like classic soul record or something. Okay, yeah, this will work though. So let me, I feel like I just need one note. Might just keep it with that one. Okay, save. Making my little copy here so I'm not messing around with the original. Croparillo, overwrite, and then we can play this chromatically here. then we'll try using the filter to get it to fit a little bit better. That's kind of sick with delay though. Nice. So yeah, just changing the delay on one of those node triggers so it's a little bit less frequent there. Okay. So we've got all 8 tracks. I could do more resampling to kind of combine and consolidate stuff, but yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think what else I could put in here. Yeah, I've been working on this one for a while, so I'm going to save it again, and maybe we can do clean slate, try to get my mind focused on something else here. Okay, so that's that. Let's go brand new. All right, what else we got here? Let's check the old bag of tricks, see what's up. Because yeah, I did see that Marlo Diggs uploaded his monthly sample pack. If you're part of his Patreon, he hooks it up every month. He gives a bunch of sick sounds in those packs. So I kind of want to take a look there and see if there's anything cool that I can quickly shape up into some cool stuff. So let's see. Curated, Marlo Diggs, the May folder. Yeah, man, he hooks it up too. There's like these Moog samples where he's like playing the keyboard. He's got Rhodes stuff too. There's usually a lot of good horns as well, which I like to use. And then the cuts are like basically just like record chops, basically. It's got like delay on it too, so it gives you a little interesting playback option there. But yeah, let me take a look at the Moog folder. Yeah, the Moog ideas, these are usually like, he'll play like chord progressions or notes or something. Oh, whoops. Whoa. It's a little like arpeggio kind of deal. Dude, this sounds sick. Yeah, let's mess around with this. I'm about to normalize it though. Get it nice and loud. All right, so let's chop it up. Let's see. So yeah, I was kind of just like imagining drums in my mind and putting the sample chops where I thought the drums would be. So let's see if that even worked. Man, they all have that pop on it, but I don't feel like going and fixing them all. So what I'm going to do is, oh wait, I got to do the first half too. Okay, so I'm just going to add some attack to it. So it's like, yeah, the pop will go away basically. So overwrite, set it to slice 01 file. And then let me do this, which is going to be where I can control. So yeah, on the mod page, I can put the volume envelope and I'll just put a little bit of attack on there. Or let me do the ADSR. Some attack on there, and then I'll max everything else out so I can just play the chops using the P6. So I can play the chops using the P6. Okay, oh, I have to set the note down. Okay, cool. So yeah, that's working. And then I need to do something else here. I'm gonna try bringing the pitch down, see what that sounds like. Still got a pop on some of them, so I'll be a little more aggressive with the attack here. All right, I'm gonna get something very simple in the sequence and then we'll start adding some drums. And then 11. Oops. And what tempo is this? Maybe 90? A little bit faster. I'm down for it though. All right, it's time for some drums. Nice, very nice. mess around with the envelope on this one too. Nice. I really like this one, but it's got that kind of hiss on it. I think with the envelope I can make this work. Okay, so if you're watching when I was making the last beat, I used the double BPM trick to kind of get increased resolution for the notes so that I could use the P6 to kind of like play things live. But with this beat, I'm more kind of using my usual workflow, which is to add notes into the step sequencer instead of playing them live. So what I'm going to do here is create this micro timing table configuration that I usually use to get a little bit more swing on some of these notes. So to do that, I got to load up my little template, which is microtime. And from here, I just have to copy this table, copy, and then I'm going to put it into the hi-hat. We'll start with the hi-hat, and then I'll do it to the kick as well. And then shift paste, or shift edit to paste. So now I have this table configuration, and what I can do is I can add commands to the sequence that'll have the note be offset by a certain amount. Based on the row of the table. So let's see if I remember how to do this. It's the THO command, table hop to a given row. And I have to put this on every single note. And I love putting this degrade on the hi-hat. I don't know if it works with this one though. I think the hi-hat's already sufficiently lo-fi enough. Could probably pitch it down though. All right, chill. So we got the hi-hat swinging a little bit. Some of the notes are offset, not super crazy. Let's do that with the kick too. Okay, so we got the kick pattern in here. I'm going to use that nth command that I was using last time too, to make it so that some of these notes only trigger on the first time the bar plays, and then some trigger on the second time. So I got to make 2 of them, 30, 30. And then from here, I can drop nth in. And yeah, basically I want to do this to like some of the ghost notes, just so it's not, yeah, a 1 bar super repetitive loop, but some happen on the other, and it becomes 2 bars essentially. Cool. So yeah, this one only plays on the second time it loops, and then this one only plays on the first time it loops. It says 1 and 3, but there is no 3, so it's just the 1. All right, so now that's kind of got a little bit more variety in it. Kind of want some more percussion on it, like a shaker or something to kind of like accent the hi-hats. Let's check the perk folder. That one might work. Let's shop around though. Yeah, let's try this one. Gotta love putting some degrade on the shaker. Okay, so now what I want to do is create a little bit more of a unique sequence of this, because right now it's just looping. So I'm going to use the start command, which I was yapping about earlier, but you get to hear me talk more about it. And yeah, this command is really cool because, yeah, it allows you essentially to chop the loop without even needing to jump into the sample edit screen and put slice markers down or anything. You can literally just put these on the whatever. I mean, I'll put them on the quarter notes, and then I'll probably end up putting some in between. And you can preview what it'll sound like. So these are all just 0, so it's going to start it right at the beginning. But I could just do... I don't know, it could just be random numbers, really. Let's hear what this sounds like. And then I'm going to throw some in between these quarter notes too. And then I'll probably use like the nth command to have it like play every other bar or something, just to create a little bit more variety with it. All right, let's try using that nth command. Yeah, I got a little wild with the nth command here. Basically, I have some of these playing on the first one, which is what the 1-0 is. Or no, 1-0 is on the second one, not the first one. So some of these are just playing on the second. Some are just playing on the first. The 8-0 ones are just playing on the first. And then this one is always playing the first note. So it creates, yeah, kind of an interesting variation where it's just on one phrase. But yeah, it's kind of like doing some of the shaker micro chops that I used with the start command on some, and then some on the other. So not a bad way to kind of mix things up. Yo, Linda-san, what's up, man? How's it going? Thanks for tuning in. Not sure what's next here. Maybe like an open hat? Oh yeah, man, appreciate that. Yeah, the shaker is, yeah, I put this like big crush effect on it too, so it's even like, even more texturized, basically. I like open hat 63, so we're gonna try and get this one in the mix too. Where's my hi-hat at? 30? This is the kick. Fode, here we go. Okay. Oh yeah, I have to do the micro timing thing on the open hat too. So I just gotta copy and paste yield table. And then paste it in. Do. Okay. Yeah, I gotta make sure this timing is acceptable. Oh shoot. So let me try to just loop it. All right, so I think I got it in the right place there. I am gonna bring it in once every, oh, yeah, I'm getting lost here. So yeah, right now it's happening every other bar. I want it to happen once every 4 bars. So instead of doing my fancy nth trick, I'm just gonna put it here. And so yeah, the main hi-hat loop is gonna loop 3 times, and then it'll come to this 4th one, and it'll play the open hat on step number E. So tell me how that works. Nice. So now it's not too frequent. What else we got here? Oh yeah, I can add a bass too. Let's do that. Doesn't have the micro timing. Must have forgot to enable that. Oh. Let's see. Yeah, no micro timing. It's okay though. I can just add the DEL commands in, kind of feel it out. So I gotta add a filter on this. Basically, I left the filter off so I could actually hear it while I was playing it. But yeah, usually what I do is whatever the bass is, I kind of just like figure out what notes are in key or whatever, play something simple, and then once I've got it recorded in is when I start shaping the sound and kind of modifying parameters and stuff. So I find that if I start shaping the sound first, sometimes it's harder to play because it's like a little bit more difficult to hear the low end through my headphones. So yeah, let's put a low pass on it and see what's what. Whoops. All right. What else we got? Maybe something like that. Let's see if we can get this to work. I'm going to take a look at the waveform real quick. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to chop it, but I probably am going to use that start command to play this first part of it twice. So let's see if I can get that in there. Yeah, it seems like the start of the sample, there's a little bit of a... It just starts off a little quiet, so I'm going to use the start command to like kind of bring it, to have the sample start playing at a louder point, basically. the low end was already a little bit busy, so I put this high pass filter on just to kind of declutter that frequency range basically. And it sounds pretty cool. In fact, now that I have a filter on it, I might be able to do some cool modulation stuff. So let me see what that sounds like. Not what I was going for. Whoa. All right, yeah, cut off. So I want to modulate the cutoff frequency of the filter. So it gives a little bit of movement to the sound, mostly just makes it quieter, although I put this resonance on to kind of keep it a little bit more consistent. But yeah, modulation is a cool way to kind of add variety, because if I wanted to do something where the volume was kind of modulating like that within the sequence, it would be kind of a lot of work of like adding the volume commands or the rep commands or whatever. So yeah, with the modulation, you kind of just set it and forget it in a sense. Maybe a horn. I just kind of like this one. This one's a vibe. Okay, I mostly just want to use this part. So I guess I'll just use the start command to kind of trigger that aspect of it. I was trying to see if I could use that delay that happens after it, but I don't think it's going to benefit me. So let me save a copy of this. Whoa. Save. Put it in my test folder. Just kind of, it's more like my temp folder, but I call it a test folder for some reason. And then I'm going to crop out the delay at the end. So let's select that. It's like basically here. Nice. Overwrite. Did that not do it? What did I forget to press there? Crop it. There we go. Okie dokie. Oh yeah, now the start command's different, so I need to dial that in. And now I might add my own delay, actually. Where are the delay commands? Here we go. Or controls, I mean. Nice. So just a little bandpass filter again, making sure everything's in the right frequency, etc. And then yeah, I could probably do some variations to this where maybe it doesn't play on certain times that it loops or something. Oh, I forgot about this whole time I've been starting it later in the sample, but there's like this beginning part. That del command at? Donde está? Oh, here we go. Trying to find some other notes that work. All right, I got to do delay on this one. And then I also have to do a kill command. Or maybe I can use the off command. Decisions. I don't even know where the off command is. Off command, where art thou? Is there even an off command? There might not. Oh, there it is. Yep. So it says node off activates the release stage of ADSR envelope. I think that works. All right, and I want to do the nth on this one too, to make it so it's not happening every single time. I'm not sure what the frequency for this one will be though. Maybe I could do 80, 1 and 3. I actually kind of want it just on the 3. Is there a way to do that? 1 and 4, 1 and 5. Oh yeah, I think 3 is, oh, here we go. All right, I want to get some practice using this sidechain thingy. So let me try using that envelope again. Actually, first, we're going to save the project. In case I mess up, we can always revert back. Yeah, okay. All right, so the kick is on 30. And it's instrument, yeah, it doesn't matter what track it's on, but it is instrument 02. Let it be known. So what I have to do is I go to the sample chops, which are here on 10. And then on the mod page, I can set a, oh, I've already got the ADSR going. And then, yeah, I can do this trig envelope, destination volume, set it to 0. And then the source will be the kick, which is instrument 02. Sounds kind of goofy. I feel like maybe it's, I think I know what's messing it up. I think it's the my little table configuration. Because yeah, basically what's happening is with this table configuration, it's like, yeah, let's go to the table. So it's just playing the note over and over again at 0 volume, and then it'll trigger at the end when it hits this RET10 command is basically when it plays at full volume. So I think what's happening is the compression or the ducking is happening while it's doing this kind of like looping of playing at 0 volume, playing at 0 volume, playing at 0 volume. So I think it's just causing it to like kind of duck a little too early, and it sounds a little wacky. So that's kind of a bummer, but I guess it's not a deal breaker really, because I don't have to be using this table configuration. I can always like, yeah, do the delay command and double BPM. That's usually enough resolution. But Juan Hernandez writes in and says, is M8 software or the name of the hardware? So M8 is the name of the hardware and software, I think. Because yeah, the operating system, I don't think it has its own name. Yeah, and you can use M8 on different devices. So it's got this is like the hardware version of it, but it basically runs on this thing called a Teensy, which is like a microcomputer, kind of like a Raspberry Pi, I guess. But yeah, that's the hardware that's required for it. This is just like a built version of it that Dirtywave creates, but yeah, I guess it's the name of the software and the hardware, if that makes sense. Try to get all fancy here. What's good, bruv? Writes in and says, does the M8 and video output through, or send video output through USB? Yeah, the USB cable is how you are seeing it on your television screen. Basically what's happening is if you go to this website called m8.run, it's like the visual client, I guess is what it's called. But yeah, basically if you plug the M8 in via USB, you go to the m8.run website, it'll display the output in such a way where you can see it using the browser, which is why you're able to see it, and I don't have to zoom in super far on this thing, which is a pretty neat feature of it. It makes it great for streaming because yeah, you all get to not have to squint your eyes to see what's going on the M8. It's big. Nice. Built out the sequence a little bit. But yeah, what's good, bruv? Writes in again and asks, have you ever tried multiple instances of hypersynth to extend chords? No, I haven't done that. Extend chords with hypersynth. Yeah, I don't mess around too much with hypersynth, but I'm gonna take a look here. In phrase number, what you call it? Yep. Okay. Hypersynth. Where you at? Sounds bad. So what you're saying is if you have like two hypersynth instruments that are on different tracks, maybe you can like sort of chain them to have the chords overlap or something. Because yeah, again, I'm not too familiar with hypersynth, but I do know that since M8 is monophonic, you're kind of like, sometimes you have to do not weird, but sometimes you have to be creative in getting sounds to kind of sustain or whatever. Oh, cool. Yeah, no, I haven't done that, but it sounds like it would work on paper. I mean, yeah, really, if you have free tracks, you can kind of, yeah, have stuff overlap. I've done that with sample chops before. Things where I kind of want one to sustain into the next. I'll just do two tracks and then I'll like render it or, yeah, mix it down basically. So yeah, seems like that would be possible. But I have not tried it because that was your question. So the answer is no. And then Simon Laver Beats says, "Are you working on music to release, Jay?" I'm actually not working on anything at the moment. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I do have probably enough Lo-Fi 12XT beats to put something together, but I don't know. For me, I enjoy more just like being in this space where I'm just kind of like creating loops and listening to them and then moving on to something else. Putting my work into like a finished form or whatever it's kind of tedious, but I do see the value in it. So I do want to work on something next, and I've done stuff like that in the past. So I think maybe something might be coming. I'll just have to take a look at what I've done on the 12XT and see if I can put together some sick stuff. But yeah, Sound Doctrine's asking, when did I get into making beats? Oh man, you're gonna make me feel old, man. But I started making beats, yeah, probably like in high school. So like 2006 or 7 was when I first got into it, using like Fruity Loops and stuff. But yeah, I was all on the computer, but then recently I got into hardware. So maybe in the past like 5 years or 6 years was when I started using actual devices and not just a DAW. Not that there's anything wrong with using a DAW. It's like different people have different ways that they be creative and enjoy making music in different processes. But for me, I found hardware to be very like liberating in a sense, because it does take you out of that sort of infinite possibilities and gives you like some limitations, I guess. I don't know. So yeah, I've been making beats for a long time, but using hardware more recently, probably in the last 5 or 6 years or something. Yeah, recording to cassette. That sounds pretty tight. I do have a couple cassette players, and then vary speed. You're just talking about like adjusting the pitch basically of the rate at which the tape plays. Because yeah, I've done that before. Yeah, cassette tapes are cool. They definitely add an interesting kind of like, they sort of saturate the sound depending on the effects you use when you're recording into it, and you can get some pretty cool sounds. So yeah, I do kind of want to mess around with that more. I'm definitely gonna think about that. All right, we've been listening to this for a while. Let me save this. Save the old boy. Trying to think what else is on the docket here. Did this beat? Let's just take one more listen to this one. See what it sounds like. Yeah, that's the thing. Simon Labor Beats says it right. Especially working DAW-less, it can be tough to export the projects. Because yeah, it's so easy to like make something on here, but then you gotta like track it out and do the stems. That's something the Lo-Fi 12 XT, it would be really cool if they had some kind of stem export type dealio. Because yeah, this thing, it does have a way to kind of like bounce the stems, which is super convenient. But yeah, for other hardware, it can be a little bit tricky having to record each track and then make sure that everything's synced up so that you can do the final kind of DAW arranging and stuff. So yeah, it's an ongoing challenge, but yeah, it's always inspiring to see other people release music because that gets me kind of thinking like, hey, I've got like 1,000 beats saved. Maybe I should put something out. So that's the plan. Nice. It's always fun to mess around with. What's good, bruv asks, who inspires you as an artist? It's a good question. I mean, you know, like the greats, of course, are always inspiring, like you know, Mad Lib for sure, that kind of stuff. Listening to like Mad Villainy and whatnot, Quasimodo the Unseen type stuff was really like kind of shaped my younger years in terms of like finding hip hop and underground stuff or whatever. So yeah, Madlib for sure, and like, you know, all the classics, of course, J Dilla, Slum Village. But yeah, nowadays, inspiring me as an artist, like DiBiase is super cool. It's always nice to see like his streams and stuff, or go to like, you know, local events that he's at and hear him like play sick beats. So like, yeah, DiBiase for sure. I'm trying to think. Yeah, there's a pretty big like community here in Sacramento in terms of like, yeah, this like flip a beat club thing that like this guy Monsrock runs. So there's a lot of cool artists there that inspire me too. But then there's also, yeah, like bigger artists too, like Madlib and stuff. So yeah, I get a lot of inspiration from all over the place, basically, as an artist. And then yeah, Simon Laver's saying, I record into the OP1. Oh, so you use the OP1 as your kind of like arrangement area or something. It's not a bad idea. Yeah, because I could probably record the Lo-Fi 12 XT beats into this, the M8, and then do some kind of, yeah, I could have each track. I mean, there's 8 tracks on this, and there's 8 tracks on the Lo-Fi 12 XT. Something to think about there. It's a way to keep the DAW-less energy going and not have to use the computer. So when you're using the OP1, do you do like kind of the mix down in there too, or you're just using it to like capture the loops that you then put on the computer? Is that how you do that? Oh, you're from Germany. Dude, that's tight. Yeah, man. I'll give you one artist to look up for sure. I'll put the name in the chat so you can check him out. Dude's really sick. Yeah, DiBiase. Yeah, he's super sick. Yeah, you can listen to his music on the major streaming platforms, but he's also got like a YouTube channel where he does streams like this. Like he was streaming, using like M8 software as well, like just the other day, in fact. So yeah, he's a pretty cool dude to get inspiration from for sure. All right, been listening to that for a while, but yeah, built it out a little bit here. Got four lines instead of 1, so it's not just a basic loop. Save this thing so I don't forget. Whoa, message retracted. Okay, so yeah, I think that's, oh whoa, I forgot this was double BPM. It's like 180 BPM. I don't remember making a drum and bass song like that, but okay. So that's this one. I'm trying to think what else I got here. Maybe I'll play some P6 beats just to close us out here. So let me turn the M8 off, or screen off, I mean. Boom. All right. Oh, okay. Do mix down on the OP1. Nice. Yeah, that's what's up. Okay, so pattern. What do we got on this? Oh yeah, this one's pretty sick. But of course you can't hear it because I have it muted. Not sure what that beat is. Okay, maybe this one. Oh yeah, and then what's good, bruv says DiBiase mostly does koala sampler SP404. I think if you would put some synths on your beats, it would sound like a really eloquent or Monte Booker. Oh, nice. Yeah, man. Synthesis, I've dipped my toes in it a little bit. I don't have too much in the way of hardware synths, but I know there's a lot of software synths that you can use, so kind of want to get more into that. Yeah, sometimes I'll use like synths to make like bass sounds, really basic stuff though, like just a sine wave or whatever. But yeah, definitely want to learn more about synthesis, so that's on the docket for sure. Seems like I'm sending some kind of MIDI information over to this thing while it's playing. It was doing kind of some weird stuff on the screen. Okay, but yeah, I think been going for a while here, so I think I'm gonna call it. Your boy's getting hungry, basically. But yeah, just want to say thank you to everyone for tuning in, asking questions, contributing to the channel, or chat, I mean. And yeah, Simon Laver Beats. I'm checking out that beat tape, dude. I'm gonna see what's up, because I know you make cool stuff. But yeah, until next time, hope to catch you on the next one. But until then, just gonna say peace.